Hello everyone, Jim McCallum here from our hometown. We're here at Mulberry Park in Shallotte. It's such a beautiful facility, and we're going to talk with Mayor Walt Eccard about some great developments here at the park. But first we're going to speak with Velva Jenkins. Ms. Jenkins is with Brunswick Community College, and she's going to tell us about workforce development. So stay with us as we explore our hometown. My guest is Velva Jenkins. She is the Vice President of Economic and Workforce Development at Brunswick Community College. Velva, welcome to our show.
And thank you for having me, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here.
I call it BCC. We call it Brunswick Community College. They have so many great stories to tell, but today we want to talk about your new business incubator.
Right, that's exactly right, Jim, and we're very happy to be here to talk about the incubator and how it became in existence.
All right, for our viewing audience, tell us what a business incubator really is, and we might get a few examples.
Okay, it's an initiative that is designed to help new startups to be successful and to increase their survival rate. There's a high number of failure rate for new startups,
right.
And this is an opportunity to make them more successful.
Okay, let's say that I'm a businessman and I'm trying to get a small business off the ground.
Okay.
Why should I come to see you?
Okay.
And I certainly would, by the way.
Okay. This incubator is designed for manufacturing, light manufacturing, as well as warehouse distribution. Mm-hmm. Those are the type of industries that we focus on.
Sure.
So if you're into that type of industry, then we could be a lot of help to a new startup by saving them dollars and also provide assistance with their business plans, their business operations.
I want to stay with that for a minute. We'll talk about space in just a second, but in terms of the skills that I lack,
right.
You and your other professionals might be able to assist me in, say, bookkeeping or cash flow or some of the very difficult challenges that we face in business.
That is correct. We have a team that we call our success team. It is led by our Small Business Center director, and then she has recruited several expertise to serve on the success team. One is financial. There's a banker on there.
Right.
Okay?
Good.
Because a lot of business startups don't understand about how do I get a loan?
Getting financing.
What
right.
I need for collateral. What do I need for projections?
Mm-hmm.
And the other one we have is an entrepreneur that has already done this, been there and done that, and can help guide ways to prevent pitfalls.
Right, avoid failure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's the overall purpose of the incubator?
Well, we'll bring them in, Jim, and if they qualify, if they meet those criteria of being a manufacturer, warehouse distribution type business, we bring them in and we give them space at a very reduced cost. For an example, we have 3 units.
Tell us where you're located.
Okay, and we're located in the Leland Center and Leland in the Industrial Park, so it's very conveniently located for access with our infrastructure.
It's part of the industrial community in the northern part of our county.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have 3 units, 2 at 950 square feet each, and then 1 at 1,100 square feet. The costs range from $4 to $5, and that is per annual square foot.
Okay.
So it's a very low price for industry to start up. Not only do they get the space, but they get other services. They have access to our fax machine, our copier,
Great.
so a company does not have to buy that at the time that they're in the incubator.
Right.
And they are in our incubator for a maximum of 3 years. If they outgrow the space, then of course they lease can be it could be relieved from their lease, and then they can go on and find larger space. The other thing that it's very important that they have access to is services. We provide free workshops and seminars to build those business operating skills.
Great.
They have access to the success team for counseling. It may be a manufacturing process they don't understand. Let's say if they get in trouble or don't understand how to really tweak a product, the design of a product. Well, we can put them in touch with engineers, manufacturers that can help them with that product line. They also have space for meetings. We have a common space that we call beautiful space with a board table that they can bring their employees,
Sure.
also their vendors and suppliers in for meetings. Wi-Fi is another thing that they have access to. So it's just a support system for our small businesses.
So if I have a small warehouse type business and want to be a part of this, just to state the obvious, I should contact you.
Yes, please contact me, and we have a process for determining if you would qualify.
Sure.
What we'll do is that we will initially send you a short form, and it kind of gives basic information of who you are. Do you have startup capital? What kind of business are you starting? Where do you plan to locate in the next 3 to 4 years? Because that's very important, because we want to build the economy in Brunswick County. We want job creation in Brunswick County. So if they're going to use our facility and then move to New Hanover County, that's not a good fit for us.
Sure.
We want them to stay here.
We want the growth here.
That's exactly right. So when we give them the short form, they complete it. We vet that short form through our success team. If they meet those basic criteria, then we send them the long form, which asks for a little bit more confidential information. Financial statements. Where's your capital coming from?
Sure.
What type of business specifics? Is it legal? Is it that type of environment that we want in a college setting? So we get all of that information, we vet that, and then once that is approved, then they will come and look at the facility, make sure that the facility is accommodating for their business. If they're in agreement, then that application is approved for the next step. That next step is Dr. Adams' team, her executive team, and then she would vet it, make sure there's no issues with conflict of interest with the college. We don't want to have an unsafe environment for our students, so we make sure that's all cleared and stable. And once she approves it, then they can have occupancy.
All right. I'm that same businessman with a warehouse-related business. And I personally have been self-employed for a number of years. It seems to me that the hurdle is that there are individuals, men and women out there watching this television broadcast, and they're saying, I can do all this myself. This is a nice idea, but do I really want to go to BCC and ask them for help? The answer I want them to know is a resounding yes, because so many have not, but could have.
Exactly.
Help me out there.
Yeah, Jim.
You see where I'm going?
I do. And Jim, what I see with that, and I have been with the college for a number of years, and I started off with the Small Business Center. And what I have seen through the years, we have entrepreneurs and small startup people, individuals, that have the skill down pat.
But we out there in the field have this rugged individualism, and we think we can do it ourselves.
Right.
And we think we don't need help when in fact we do.
You do, because you know the skills, but you don't know that everyday operation technique.
Right.
You don't know about bookkeeping, record keeping, paying the taxes. Oh, so important. So many businesses fail because they don't pay those taxes. And it just kills them. It just brings them down. Knowing the manufacturing process on how much inventory do I need to have on hands at all time. First in, first out, or those type of inventory.
Minimizing the amount
costs.
of
Exactly.
Sure, holding costs down.
They don't have that kind of concept, but they know how to make that product.
Correct.
And so that's why I would highly recommend a company to come to us for this service.
And that's why I urge the business men and women watching this telecast to be in contact with you and inquire and make that contact. And of course, we'll have all that information on the screen, your contact information as well.
And Jim, what I would like to say, it only costs them time.
Right.
There's no fee, no cost for this service.
Glad
it's
you said
completely free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the funding for the program?
Okay.
Where does that come from?
Okay, we have a collaborative agreement with the Brunswick County Economic Development Commission. That's what it was called at the time. And Jim Bradshaw, thank you. Jim Bradshaw came to me with this idea of starting an incubator. Now, we have been in the incubator business before, the college has, and we were just using our facility. And as we grew with our programs, allowed us to kind of eliminate that program for a while. And then when Jim came to us and he had identified 2 opportunities for grants, then we went out for grant opportunity. We sought the first grant with EDA, US EDA. They require a match, a 100% match. And then we went to Golden Leaf. Both of those grantors provided $200,000 each.
Golden Leaf is a large philanthropic endeavor here in North Carolina.
You got it. That's right. That's right. So we had a total of $400,000. The college then added $41,000, making the project $441,000 and a few change to make this possible. That provided 3 business incubators and a common space area for them to use as office and meeting area.
Do you have any occupants as we speak?
We have 4 applications in hand. 1 is ready to go to Dr. Adams' desk. 1 is pending to go to her desk. And then we have 2 we're still processing.
But I guess that's a roundabout way of saying there is some availability at this point.
You got it. Every space is open until approved.
Right.
And we have about 30 inquiries for the space.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And let's remind our viewers that the whole idea here is to support these small businessmen and women, but also to bring economic development to our county.
Exactly. It's all about economic growth.
Right.
Making it thrive in Brunswick County.
Belva, I've so much enjoyed our conversation, but I'd like to broaden it just a little bit and talk about some of the broader workforce development issues. We were off camera for just a moment, and I mentioned to you, as I think is correct, that community college graduates who graduate with a real solid skill, and a lot of junior college graduates actually make more money as they enter the workforce than those with a 4-year degree.
Exactly.
Can I be right about that?
You are, and I can understand that, and I'm a parent that has seen that happen. They do have a better opportunity of getting a job initially, making a higher wage with a 2-year degree.
And the obvious answer is they have a marketable skill.
A marketable skill, that's correct. And you could, and just to name a few, nursing is one.
Sure.
And that is a very highly sought career.
One of our better known programs at BCC.
Exactly, and we have a success rate in our LPN for 8 years straight of 100% pass rate. That says a lot about the quality of our program, and our ADN program has a great pass rate as well. Their last class in 2015, 100% pass rate.
Wow, and I mentioned to you my niece who has a 4-year degree, but she went back to nursing school and found that that's not only what she loves to do, but it's a very highly marketable skill.
Exactly. They can start off anywhere from $44,000 a year to $50,000 a year, depending on the overtime that they make.
Now, to a large degree, the same is true of those who have welding skills, other building and trade skills.
Correct.
And I'm not talking about the dollars, but the marketability of their skills.
Exactly, Jim. What we're seeing across the nation, there's a huge skill gap. When it comes to manufacturing skills. Manufacturing is starting to stay in the U.S. and
they want to stay,
and
don't
they want to stay, and they need to find qualified individuals to work in their companies. And so that is an area that is very highly sought, and Brunswick Community College has several programs that can get people into those individuals into a place of work.
And I read in the business journals, we'll just take a giant company like GE and hundreds of others, that they're actively seeking these young graduates that have these solid skills.
That's correct. And GE, for an example, looks for machinists. And BCC happened to have a 6-month program that can get you with the right skills to qualify for jobs at companies like GE. And all of the programs that we have when it comes to the trades, may it be the manufacturing trades or the construction trades, they come with national certifications or state certification, meaning that the individual is portable. They can take that credential anywhere in the U.S. and find a job.
Now tell our viewers the specific programs that we have at BCC.
Okay. As I mentioned before, we have a machine technology program, which a student will come in and learn about basic machining, as well as how to operate a computerized machine, lathe, milling machines that actually make tools and actually makes products out of steel and out of any type of metal type product.
Right.
We also have our HVAC, our heating, ventilation, and air program.
That's in great demand right here in Brunswick County.
Brunswick
am I right?
County cannot find enough of HVAC individuals.
Say that one more time. I want our viewers to hear that.
That's right. We cannot find enough of our HVAC, our heating and air technicians, and
Right.
that is a lucrative program.
Yeah.
They get state certification with that program as well as a national certification. Another program that I think is very, very strong and very sought after, and we have a huge company in New Hanover County that is seeking a lot of individuals in this area, and that's welding.
Fantastic.
TIG welding, and is one of the ones they look for. Fabrication. BCC has that program on two sides of the college. We have it in our associate's program, our diploma program, and as well as our continuing education
What I
program.
hear you, I'm sorry to interrupt. What I hear you say is that a young student with a welding certification from BCC would have a terrific opportunity coming right out of the chute.
Exactly, exactly. Jobs are waiting. Another important thing about welding, a lot of welders are aging out. They're retiring.
Good point.
So the job market is opening up for new welders.
Good point.
Yeah. So we have many programs, and our programs are packaged from what we call career pathways. We come in and make sure that they have those basic skill sets like reading, math, locating information. Those are the three areas that businesses look for.
Reading, math, and access.
Locating information.
Locating information.
Exactly. We have a way of testing the individuals to see if they meet the industry standard. If not, that doesn't mean they can't come into our program.
Right.
That means we work with them as they enroll in our program.
And just to be clear, those skills are taught in the building and trades, various courses that you offer.
Exactly, exactly.
So you're producing a young student who not only has that skill, but has the more broad skills for success in life.
That's right, exactly,
Right.
exactly. They're marketable and they're ready to go to work. And we also work with them on their soft skills, because once we do all we can do with them in our skill areas or our trade areas, they got to find a job. So we help them with that. We build their resume. We help them with interviewing skills, communication skills before they go into the workplace.
Right. Well, it's such a great story that you and BCC have to tell, and I hope our viewers have learned a lot from this brief interview. It's just been a pleasure having you
And it's
today.
been a pleasure being here, Jim. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Velvet. It's a beautiful spring day here in Shallotte, and we are here at the Mulberry Park with my good friend Mayor Walt Eccard. Thanks for being with us, Mr. Mayor.
Jim, thank you. It's always a pleasure to get together with you.
You have a great story to tell about your up-and-coming grand celebration in May that marks the opening of the park. Am I right?
Yes, you're right, Jim, and we're very excited about it. We're going to have the official opening the weekend of May 20th and 21st. And on the 20th, we're going to have at 6 o'clock the opening dedication of the park, followed by a concert that night.
Right.
And then the next day, we'll have on Saturday the farmers market. And the thing that I'm looking forward to at noon, a community-wide free picnic.
Fantastic.
For people to come here. And then that night, a movie for the children.
Now, we're not going to move around, but our cameras will. So let's talk about the various items here at the park. Start anywhere you care to start.
Well, I want to talk first, and thanks, Jim. I want to talk first about our amphitheater, which I'm very excited about.
It's right behind us.
It's right behind us, and the amphitheater really came into focus when we realized with the slope of the land, we could do naturally tiered seating, which gives all the people coming great seats, good views, and a lovely view back into the woods. The amphitheater is going to be for our movie and concert series, and we're already getting community groups and churches approaching us to see when they could use it. So we expect that the park will have a lot of activity, certainly for our summer series, which if you go to the Shallotte website, it's all detailed there, all of our events. And so it's going to be an active summer, and it's going to be hopefully an expanding use for everybody.
You can't tell from our perspective, but it holds a large number of individuals. does it
Yes,
not?
we haven't officially checked it, but informally looking at it, we can seat well over 1,000 people.
Wow. Wow.
And then to the side of that, we have a playground that we received a partial grant for. And it's a lovely playground with two main sections, one for children under 5 and another for children 5 to 10 or 11.
Right.
And the part for the children under 5 is shaped in the form of a ship and with a sail. And we did that to try to capture and tie it into Shallotte with its nautical past as being a place upriver where boats would come.
Right.
And then to the side of that, we have the picnic shelter, which of course will also be available for families or groups to use. We'll have a large number of picnic tables. It's where the restrooms for the facility are. To the side of that, we have a community garden, which will have a number of plots, at least 20, and they're going to be available for citizens to rent for a very nominal fee and grow their vegetables.
Right.
And a nice part of that is Brunswick Family Assistance has already agreed to take 2 of the plots to grow food for the people that they serve, so they have fresh vegetables to go with the canned goods they put in their packages.
That's great. That's great.
And then behind that is a thing that's, as you and I were talking, I'm very excited about. It's a cemetery. It's actually a cemetery where the first mayor of Shallotte is buried.
Tell us some more about that. I want to hear about that.
Well, it was a family cemetery in the 1800s up till the very early 1900s.
And it hasn't been accessible until recently.
Until we built the roads around here, it was just in a field.
Right.
And so we've opened it up. There are veterans of the Civil War buried there. Like I said, the first mayor of Shalotte's buried there. Sometimes my colleagues, when they get mad at me, remind me that it is the first mayor of Shallotte that's buried there. Right. And I'm not sure what they're trying to tell me, but I think I'm in trouble. We're going to be doing some more decorating on it. And later this month, we're having a ceremony where a dedication of a tree is going to be made along with a plaque for the names of the 10 citizens of Brunswick County that gave their lives in the Vietnam War. Right. And so that will really bring the cemetery, if you think about it, from the Civil War to the Vietnam War, and honoring the Shallotte citizens who were here.
And of course, until now, it's been, if not in a state of disuse, semi-abandoned.
That's right. That's right. The town took it over about 8 years ago to do the landscaping on it. There was a small fund that was turned over to the town to help in the maintenance, but we didn't have it, other than keeping the grass cut and making sure all the stones were in good shape. We didn't have any way of dressing it up or incorporating it back into the community, and so I'm excited about that from a historical point of view.
Right. Let's talk about the broader use of the park. First off, let's point out there's ample parking.
There is, and we're going to be, one of the things we're going to be doing is adding more parking.
Okay.
We're going to have extra parking for the opening event because we expect a large turnout. But we're working on an even more permanent solution, which is will be behind the picnic shelter, behind the cemetery, probably adding another 100 or so parking spaces back there.
And I was here a few months ago for the beginning of a 10K race here in Shallotte.
Right.
But also, if I want to come out and throw frisbees with my friends, is the park available?
Yes, it's going to be open for everybody. I think our hours will be sort of sunrise to sunset unless we have a night event. There is an ability to reserve the park for functions. If you have a family picnic, we have 2 event lawns, and so we're going to have one event this summer, a tomato festival, and we hope that grows in future years.
So to speak.
Yeah, well, tomatoes growing will be a good thing, right? And also it's a nice area, like you said, to, throw frisbees, run with your children.
Or if my children and grandchildren are on the beach and get tired of or sunburned, they can come here and enjoy the day.
Absolutely, with the playground and with the areas to run around and burn off some that youthful energy that you and I used to have, but don't have so much anymore. Yeah. So yes, and we want to emphasize that this is a park for the people, and we want people to use it. Now, obviously, for designated uses, we need to go through the town for reserving, if you're reserving an entire facility. But my happiest thing would be if every hour of every day somebody was here in the park using it.
Yeah. Now, I know the name is Mulberry Park, but let's say it a couple of times for our folks watching.
Yes, this is Mulberry Park. We have two entrances, one off Mulberry Street,
Right.
And one off Main Street.
And it's visible from Main Street, of course.
Yes, it is. The land naturally slopes from from my left to the right.
You're right.
And so we incorporated that into the design of the park, but it also, the street is at a higher elevation than the park is, so it does open up the vista.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, let's go back in history just a few years and tell us how everything got started.
We did a vision plan, Jim, back in 2008, and we had a couple of goals. One of them was to improve Main Street and improve the recreational opportunities for the citizens of Shallotte. After 2008, we were very fortunate. This land, there's about a total of 10 acres, became available. And it's sort of like the lemonade and lemon. Obviously, those were tough economic times,
Right.
but we were able to acquire the land, the 10 acres, for a very reasonable price. We then started on a planning process that included outreach to the community to see what people wanted, and retained our experts we needed to do design work, and so we knew that there were certain features based on the community input that we wanted. We wanted to move the amphitheater from its present kind of crowded location to a nicer location.
Right.
We wanted to move the farmers market to an area that was easier for people to come and enjoy the wonderful things on Saturday morning that our farmers market offers. And then we decided, well, we also need a playground. That was high on the list of people. And so we took all that input and started designing it. And we made, as you can imagine, we made changes as you go along and encounter things. But one of the things, for instance, one of the things we changed was initially the lawn was just going to be straight down. And we decided to tier it, which I think gives it a much more dramatic effect and actually increases the seating capacity.
Absolutely.
And so it's been about a 2.5-year project. From almost 3 years from the time we purchased the property to the design. We started construction last year, and were able to get a lot of the laying out of the ground done, and then this year able to build into our budget the funding for the amphitheater and the picnic shelter.
All right, let's not conclude without saying that these things don't happen by accident. They happen as a result of a lot of leadership, a great commitment by your town council, and the support of the community. And you're a great part of that, but others as well.
I couldn't agree more, and I'm delighted with the support we have in the community. And the town is very fortunate to have the Board of Aldermen that it does. They have been unanimous in their support of this. They've given extra time in the planning process. We formed a subcommittee, and 2 of the aldermen sit on that to help in the design decisions. So we didn't have to wait till a month for the whole board to meet and do the large volume of work. And they volunteered their time, substantial amounts of time.
Right.
And of course, town staff also has been very dedicated. So you're right, it's a team effort, and we couldn't do it if we didn't have the community support. We certainly couldn't do it if we don't have the Board of Aldermen that we are fortunate enough to have.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Let's conclude by saying come out and see the park.
Absolutely, and we'd love to see you May 20th and 21st. And remember, the free picnic on the 21st.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us on Our Hometown. If you have a story that you'd like to tell, contact us at atmctv.com. And join us again next month as we explore more of our hometown.